This is all happening as the world is demanding ceasefires, it's demanding humanitarian pauses, and reports now from Axios, I believe, showing a sort of disconnect between levels of the American government calling for originally a 3-day humanitarian pause, then saying Israel, the Americas commit to Israel not pausing as if it's going to interrupt military activities. What's going on with this?
So first, just to remind our viewers, we're talking about at least 240 Israelis kidnapped by Hamas on the deadly October 7th massacre, including children as young as now 10 months old baby. So the latest report out of Axios reports of an conversation between Biden and Netanyahu, in which Biden urged Netanyahu to agree to a 3-day pause in the fighting in order to bring about the release of some of the hostages. So according to that proposal, they're talking about the release of 10 to 15 hostages using that 3-day pause, during which Hamas will also, according to the report, will verify the identities of the hostages and will deliver a list of the names of people it is holding. Well, Netanyahu responded to Biden saying he does not trust Hamas's intentions, does not believe they are ready to agree to a deal, and also there's a fear that Israel, with a possible pause in the fighting, would lose much of its current international support, the momentum that it has to go back into fighting after a 3-day halt. But just speaking about the possibility of that pause, well, I can take you back to August 1st, 2014. I was on a bus of foreign journalists on our way to Kerem Shalom crossing during a pause in the fighting between Israel and Hamas. Well, during that drive to Kerem Shalom, our bus was stopped and had to U-turn because Hamas used the opportunity of that pause to attack a group of Israeli soldiers, killing 3 of them and kidnapping Hadar Goldin. So the very vivid memory of what Hamas does in case of such humanitarian or temporary pauses in war is still very evident in the collective memory of the Israeli public and of the IDF in particular, and especially after the atrocities that we've seen over the past month. Any idea of trusting Hamas to deliver a humanitarian good of some sort is very questionable, to the very least.
And I want to just break in here to tell our audience there's been a development, rocket sirens going off in Israel's south in the area of Kisufim. I'm going to return back to our studio panel. Amir, you look like you had something you wanted to add to Guy's analysis.
Well, the IDF is a very effective military machine, and it can get what it is planning to do, even with a 1-day pause or a similar ceasefire. The momentum is important, but for the Israeli public, the fate of the hostages is paramount. And even a small indication that there is hope, that some people are being released, that the full list which will spell the end of uncertainty. For many people, it will be a joyous event. For others, of course, a very sorrowful one, because they will know that their loved ones are no longer alive. And the Israeli public has been putting a lot of pressure on the government. And actually what Netanyahu said, of course, he phrased it in the negative, but you can read it the other way around. No hostage release, no ceasefire. If there is a hostage release, not the hostage, all of them release, there will be some sort of a pause. Whether it's for a few hours, for a day, for a night, Israel and the IDF can live with that.
And I'll just add that we're talking about roughly 180 of those hostages being held by Hamas, around 40 held by Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and several dozens others in the hands of other militant groups, including regular civilians who joined the party, the blood party of that October 7th, who came into Israel slaughtering Israelis and also kidnapping some of them. But we are hearing also from the headquarters of the hostages' families in response to Biden's offer, saying we support any initiative for temporary pause for the release of the hostages. They demand of the Israeli government to stand on the principle that any pause in fighting, for whether it's for long or short term, will be conditioned on the immediate release of the kidnaps. But the headquarters objects strongly to any pause for talks that are only meant to waste time and psychological warfare against the families.
The director of Central Intelligence, Bill Burns, is in the area in order to effect a back-channel negotiation on the hostages. He has been in Israel, met with Netanyahu and his counterpart, the Mossad chief, Dadi Barnea, and obviously is going elsewhere, who knows, Egypt, Qatar, and some deal will be struck. Whether it will be satisfactory remains to be seen.